behavioral change consultant Johanse Ayodike joins me on set, and today we are going to elaborate or at least expand on an interesting concept. Quote, you don't have to acquire every taste, end quote. Johanse, good morning, great to see you again.
Correct. Morning, Jason, and good morning to all the viewers.
I mean, I thought to say, variety is the spice of life. I thought, we should try everything at least, try new things, adventure, but clearly you don't have to acquire every taste.
Well, I agree we should try everything, but it's not everything you need to hold on to, right? Because, let me give you an example. When I was about a teenager, because I was underage, so that's what I don't want to say, right? When I tried my first beer, I remember thinking, this not tasting good at all. And I remember saying that, and I remember being told, well, it's an acquired taste. And I remember thinking, I don't really want to acquire this taste, right? I prefer pina colada and all them kind of nice things, right?
Yeah.
And thinking about it is not only drinks and food, but it's also attitudes, circumstances, relationships. Sometimes we're in certain situations, and, well, I just have to accept it.
And I'm glad you touched on situations, because situations, to me, I'm seeing it as situation/environment. Sometimes the environment could dictate what you're exposed to and what you might be more prone to try, according to if you were, well, granted you were in a different environment, you wouldn't be exposed to certain things.
Correct. Right? It depends on the environment, because depending where you live, it have certain things, like we say, certain elements, certain people, certain businesses, certain schools, certain organizations that someone else may not have. And even though it's different, it doesn't mean you have to accept it, because I live in this area doesn't mean I have to accept this. Because I live in Trinidad doesn't mean I have to accept potholes. It doesn't mean I have to accept poor customer service. It doesn't mean I have to accept certain things. Because I'm in this relationship for 5 years doesn't mean I have to stay in it and accept it. Because I know this person from since primary school doesn't mean I have to stay friends with them. Sometimes we hold on to something that we don't have to.
I want to take it now to a place. I always try to find different angles to the topic. So let's look at someone who is socially mobile. They would have come from a roots foundation. They've climbed the corporate ladder, climbed the ladder of business. They're now in the big boys club, big girls club. Of course, different style, different pattern. And some people sometimes kind of struggle in trying to keep that particular route, do the things that they would have grown knowing, and some turn their back totally, and some strike a beautiful balance, and some sometimes feel a bit like, nah, this is not for me. They will still go and sit down on a breakfast shed. They will still go by the hawk and spit bar and lime with the boys, as opposed to go and knock a glass in the top tier facilities. How does one sometimes navigate or even come to terms with their circumstance when they become socially mobile? Could you even strike a balance? Or should you just embrace the new environment and the new taste?
Embrace it first, right? Don't reject it because it's something new. And once you embrace it, but in the act of embracing it, if you realize it's not for you, don't stay in it. Because it's like drinking something and it not tasting good, even though it's expensive, even though everybody say you should drink it, doesn't mean you sit down there and you're hurting yourself. Just like in a relationship, if you're reaching a certain echelon and you're liming with certain types of people, where you realize that's not the conversation you like, that's not the people you want to be around, excuse me, you shouldn't stay in it. You should do what resonates with you or what makes you happy.
Interesting. Because I'm thinking, you don't have to acquire every taste. I mean, so many different angles you could go with this. And as you rightfully said, I think environment, you think that's the most critical factor, really, in terms of what you'll be prone to do, prone to drink, prone to eat, prone to experience and to try?
Yeah, it's a major factor, because which family you're born into exposes you to a certain options, which primary school you go to, secondary school you go to, which church you go to, which religion you are part of, all of those things, which country you live in, is an important factor in your options. Now, even though there are many options, again, It doesn't mean that you have to acquire certain things. And sometimes people will try to force you or coerce you into it. They will tell you, well, you know, because you're here, everybody is doing that. Because, and let's use in Trinidad, sometimes mediocre things happen. I mentioned the road and the potholes. Somebody might say, well, that is just how it is.
Well, I mean, sometimes you've grown so accustomed to a particular standard, a particular lifestyle, that some people just resign to the fact that, you know what, nothing going to change. I mean, you could lift your voice, you could complain from now till the kingdom come. It's been so since my grandfather's time, it's so for my time, and no, I'm not suggesting that's the right mindset, but there are many who kind of sometimes just, they give up almost.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's what I'm encouraging the viewers today to not become. Because after a while, just because it is that way, I will leave it that way. And you realize it's not good for your mental health, it's not good for emotional health, and sometimes not even good for your physical health. And us moving forward as a country, people moving forward as individuals, families, organizations, is important to know what you really like from what you don't like, and what's good for you and what's not good for you, and how long you're staying in it.
Really quick before we wrap things up, what about if you don't like something but you want to please people around you and you don't have the courage really to say, you know what, this is not really my kind of scene, you know, but you're just going along. What you say to that person this morning?
Oh, I empathize because I experienced that, and I know many people experience that in some form of trying to please others. I would say, one, look at the long term. If you continue doing something that you don't want to do, it will be to your detriment, and it is your life, and you should be happy and you should be comfortable. People live in their lives and they're happy and comfortable. So trying to please someone is almost you doing detriment to yourself and hoping somebody accepts you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'll give you a chance to put in the closing remarks. Johanse, it's all yours.
Explore all options, but don't hold on or acquire every taste, because don't make life complicated, because even though life is not easy, it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
Another real impactful conversation. You know, I mean, listen, we get a chance to ventilate, to really talk about the issues, and I hope that you take certain notes. I always get great nuggets coming out of our conversation with Johanse every Thursday morning. With that being said, let's head across to the Omega XL health tip for today.